And I tell you, I know we're coming toward the end of our time, which makes me sad. It always flies by. And I've so much enjoyed picking your brain. I'm going to ask you two more questions. We're going to call it a day. Is that
Sure.
my first question is just about the future of publishing, incorporating a little bit of self-publishing, because one thing we all know, I don't think anybody knows the future exactly. And if you do, why are you focused on books? The stock market, man, go. But we know it's a time of disruption because we're seeing it across all mediums. We're seeing television upside down, the music industry upside down. I know that Barnes and Noble had gone through 5 CEOs in less than 2 years, and prior to this hedge fund stepping in to buy them, they were running all of their daily expenses on a investor-controlled fund, which back in my days as a financial advisor and a day trader, that would have been my choice to short the stock. Barnes and Noble was going down. Now, hopefully, the hedge fund stepped in. They're going to make things better, rebuild it. But it does concern me when I go, and I'm picking on Barnes & Noble because they're the biggest bookstore. I love you, Barnes & Noble. I was just there for Annie Sullivan's amazing party. But when I go in there these days, it starts to remind me of the Blockbuster video stores. Toward the end, Blockbuster, they take their movie section, and that was like now half the store, and the rest was movie posters, movie memorabilia, snacks, things that people could buy beyond that. Now, when I go to Barnes and Noble to see half the store is books, and the other half is $60 Blu-rays and toys for kids and things. Again, new hedge fund managers come in, bottom up. They're going to turn things around. Barnes and Noble is going to be okay. But knowing that whatever happens with the hedge fund guys and girls, whatever happens with Barnes and Noble going forward, there is going to continue to be disruption. Because we're in a massive media explosion. People are going to continue to purchase e-readers, probably viable AR and VR coming online in the near future, where we'll be reading our books virtually, or we'll be holding up nothing, but we can see a page through our glasses. All that's coming. In fact, one of my running jokes is Steven Spielberg says the world of Ready Player One is going to be a reality in the next 5 to 10 years. And so I like to imagine myself at the start of the race where they're all going to race the dinosaurs and do anything you can imagine. And I'm still there. Would anyone like to buy a book? And you do all that amazing stuff. So with the disruption we know is coming, do you have some idea of what the future of publishing is going to look like, and what are you doing to prepare yourself and your clients for whatever that's going to be?
I mean, I don't think that anybody is certain what they think the future of publishing is specifically going to look like. I think it's obvious, as you said, that there's a lot of change happening. Maybe I'm not being alarmist enough about it, but I think that honestly, whatever happens, we'll just kind of see it as it comes. Like you said, Blockbuster used to be a thing, sort of Borders. And CDs and Walkmans, but the music industry is still around. The movie industry is still around. The book industry is still around. I think that the formats might change, but I think the way that we sort of consume books, the kind of stories that we're interested in, like I don't think that will vary as strongly. And I think we've already seen, right? There's a huge rise in audiobooks. Before agents used to not even really think about giving publishers audio rights, because what would you do with audio rights? It's like that small little thing. And, now we're dying to hold on to them because audiobooks have just skyrocketed. And so that's obviously a change in the way people are consuming stories. But I'm assuming that the people who are choosing audiobooks, maybe over physical books or even ebooks, are still maybe reading within their favorite genres. They're still buying, all the YA fantasies that they love, or the cozy mysteries. They're just consuming them in a different way. I also remember, was I an assistant at Writer's House or an intern? I can't remember. But I remember, when ebooks first started being a thing and people were freaking out because what were we going to do about that? You weren't going to have a physical book anymore. What would the royalty percentage be? Apple was going to kill us all. But, it was fine. I think, I don't know, it almost kind of feels like a Y2K kind of situation where people are like, the future of publishing, it'll be fine. So I guess the second part of your question, as you can probably tell, is I'm not really preparing my authors for very much. But I think I'm just trying to sort of stay aware of those trends in the marketplace, right? Sort of stay on top of the fact that, audio is really doing really well. What's going on? I mean, in the same way that agents are paying attention to sort of any kind of fluctuations or changes within the industry.
Oh, that makes sense. And I 100% agree with you. I don't want to be an alarmist. People are still going to read. It's been popular forever, even in the virtual world, whereas, all right, Mr. Dinosaur, take a break. I'm going to read the rest of this new book, and then maybe we'll do another race.
Although, I don't know, if we are going to be in a Ready Player One type of situation, I think maybe book sales might drop off at end because that's going to be pretty crazy. But have you ever heard of simulation theory?
Oh, sure.
Okay. My husband explained this to me fairly recently, and I still do not understand it. It's like, I don't know if we're already in a simulation. First of all, if it's being run by aliens, why? Why do they care about having us pretend that we're living in these normal lives? And how would you be able to tell just because we would have the technology to do it? Why would having the technology to do it in the future mean that it would be happening right now?
Well, I know I heard this explained recently. I'm going to try and pretend that I was listening to something hybrid. I wasn't. I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience because it's great. Okay, there you go. We probably heard the same guy. And I'm not smart enough to explain it the way he did. But the idea is that once the technology becomes available and you take a look at all possible realities that could exist because you can make a simulation, the odds of being in a simulation are far more probable than the odds of being in the original reality that's on the way to making a simulation.
I still don't understand how they get to that, like being a more logical. Anyway, I know that that's not exactly what we're supposed to be discussing here.
We can talk about anything you want. It is something that's, especially since my religious faith has wandered away from formal religion. I'm not on board Team Atheist yet because the world's just too weird. But I'm also not convinced anybody has all the answers. The simulation theory has really appealed to me because, oh, that explains things. They're not aliens. That's part of the program. Fine.
I hate it. I think it comes down to maybe being a little bit of like a control freak when it comes to my personal life. Because as soon as John was saying that, I was like, no, I'm feeling that. That's actually my arm. That's my fingers touching my arm, and I feel it because it's my arm, not because I'm in the Matrix and that's what this
simulation. How would you know?
I would look for glitches. Well, I guess, and also speaking of, like having religion or faith, I guess the way that we'll actually know is when we die, right? Then we'll know if we're actually in the simulation theory or not. Because if you're rebooted, then there you go.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's the most optimistic to me thought is that you die and you're like, oh wait, I'm respawned. Now I can do something else. Great.
Why does this all look so familiar?
But it also, sometimes when I'm feeling really, what's the word? Not nice. I can't think of the right word. Cynical, I guess. Got a little New Yorker in me. Feel a little bit cynical, and I think that of all the people that are so convinced that their religion is the one true one and they have all the answers, and if there really is nothing beyond this, you die, the lights go out, and you don't even know you ever existed. Those people never know they were wrong.
We have to do something.